Electronics. So today our topic is voltage and harmonic control. So actually last class we discussed three-phase three-phase DC to AC converter with 120-degree conduction and different voltage control technique that has PWM technique we are discussed. So PWM technique for triangular and sinusoidal wave. And square wave we are discussed. Today our topic is voltage and harmonic control. Okay. So actually in periodic waveform and that has a frequency which which is a multiple integral of the fundamental power with a frequency of 60 Hz is known as harmonic. Okay, so harmonic means mm, wh- which an which is an a integral multiple of the fundamental power with a frequency of 50 Hz. So with the integral multiple of the fundamental power with a frequency of 60 Hz, that will be known as harmonic. And total harmonic distortion on the other hand refers to the total contribution of all the harmonic current frequencies. Okay, so total harmonic distortion means total contribution of the all the harmonic current frequencies. Okay, so the harmonics are characterized by the pulse that represents the number of rectifiers used in a given circuit. Okay, so here harmonics will be characterized by the pulse that represents the number of rectifiers will be used in a given circuit. Okay, so it is calculated. So here it will be calculated H equal to N into P plus or minus 1. Okay, here N is an integer. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on N. P means number of rectifiers. So harmonics have an impact on the voltage and current output and can be reduced by using isolation of transformers and line reactors. So that is the redesign of power system and harmonic filters. Okay. So the harmonic effect will be on the output voltage and current. So it will be reduced by using isolation transformer or line reactor and redesigning a power system with the harmonic filters. Okay. So what is harmonic means? With the integral multiple of a fundamental power with a frequency of 50 Hz. It will be known as harmonic. And total harmonic distortion means the total contribution of all the harmonic currents of frequencies. Okay, and harmonic characterization will be calculated H equal to N into P plus or minus 1. Here N is integer and P is number of rectifiers will be used in the given circuit, and hormone will be impact on voltage, output voltage and output current. It will be reduced by using isolation transformer and reactor, line reactors and some harmonic filters we are using. Okay, so you want to reduce the harmonics. Next coming to current source inverter with ideal switches. So CSI. It will be called as CSI. CSI means current source inverter. Here you have to see the circuit diagram of current source inverter. This is a single phase current source inverter. Okay. So the figure 4.35 will tells the single phase current source inverter. So CSI. So it is a ideal switches. So a current source inverter with ideal switches. So here we have to see this wave circuit diagram. So this is here four thyristors will be there and four diodes will be there. Here two capacitors it will be off and off, and here the load will be there. So the here the input, so source will be single phase. Here we are connected inductance. Okay. So this is the circuit diagram of CSI. CSI means current source inverter. So when you have to see this operation, So the circuit of single phase current source inverter will be shown in this figure 5.35. So this type of operation as termed as auto sequential commutated inverter. So auto sequential commutated inverter means, so it is called as ASCI. Okay. So a constant current source will be assumed here. Here constant current source will be assumed. So which may be realized by using an inductance of suitable value. Okay. So here we have taken a suitable inductance, and it will be must be high. It will be must be high in series with the current limited DC voltage source. Here the thyristor pairs TH1 and TH3 and TH2, TH4 are alternatively turned on to obtain nearly square wave current waveform. So two commutating capacitors we have, C1 will be upper half and C2 will be lower half are used. And four diodes D1 to D4 are connected in series with each thyristors to prevent the commutating capacitor from discharging into a load. Okay. So the output frequency of inverter is, so here the output frequency of inverter is controlled in the usual way such that by varying the half time period at which the thyristor in a pair are triggered by a pulses being fed to the respective gates by the control circuit. So to turn on, as it can be observed from the waveforms, so here the inductance will be taken as a load in this case. This, so the reason for the which we needed to not be started being well known. So the operation is explained in two modes. Okay. Here, four thyristor pairs will be there, four thyristors. So TH1 and TH3 and TH2 and TH4 will be two pairs of thyristors, and here two capacitors will be there. One will be upper half and second will be in lower half will be used. So here four diodes will be connected in series with the thyristor. So to prevent the commutating capacitor from discharging into a load. So the frequency of inverter is controlled in usually such that varying the half time period at which the thyristor in a pair are triggered by a pulses being fed to respective gates by the control circuit. So it will be turned on as can be observed from the waveforms. Okay. So you have to see these waveforms. So figure 5.36 will tells the output waveform of single phase CSI in. So single phase CSI. Here we have to see this current waveform. Here triggered pulses will be there. Okay. So at starting, two thyristor pair of will be started simultaneously. At first TH1 and TH3 will be started. So the TH1 and TH3 triggering pulses, and this waveform will represent TH3 and TH4 triggering pulses. So TH1 and TH3 will be operated half of the time period, and remaining half of the time period TH2 and TH4 will be operated. So here the voltage will be there. So the voltage will be in at whenever the TH1 and TH3 will be operating, then it will be in positive output voltage will be obtained, and TH2, TH4 will be operating, then negative voltage will be obtained. Here the current IS. So the current also will be obtained negative and positive. Here you have to see at starting no current will be flows. Whenever the thyristor will be triggered, then the current will be flowing at lower half to upper half of the thyristor. And here I thyristor currents. So here at starting TH1, so here TH1 and TH3 will be triggered, and after that TH2 and TH4 triggered, and again TH1 and TH3 will be triggered. So this is the current waveform for thyristors. So starting the thyristor current will be flowing. Whenever this will be triggered, then it will comes to zero, and again the thyristor current will be on state whenever this thyristor will be turned off state. Okay, so this is the wave output waveform of single phase current source inverter. Okay. So actually the CSI will be operated in two modes. So when you have to see in first mode of operation, so the circuit mode will be shown in starting the CSI current source inverter figure will be shown. So the following assumption we have to take in. For operation of CSC, we have to take in the following assumption. So at starting from the instant, the thyristor pair. So a thyristor pair will be operated at so TH2 and TH4 will be conducting on, and the current I flows through the path TH2 D2. So TH2 D2 load L and D4 and TH4. Okay, so and TH4 and the source high. So the commutating capacitors are initially charged equally with the polarities as a given, such that this means that both capacitors have right hand plates be positive and left hand plates will be negative. If two capacitors are not charged initially, they have to pre-charge. Okay, so in mode 1 operation, it's so mode 1 operation, TH2 TH4 will be 2 and 4 will be triggered. Okay, then this TH2 and TH4 will be conducting. Then the current flows with the path of TH2, D2, load, D4, TH4 and source. So the commutating capacitors are initially charged. So initially charged with the polarities as a given. So this means the capacitors have right hand plate will be positive and left hand plate will be negative. And if two capacitors are not charged initially, so they have to pre-charge. Okay. Here we have to see the mode 1 operation of CSC. So when these TH2, TH3 will be triggered. So the current flow direction will be from source to here thyristor. So from thyristor to here this capacitor will be, these two capacitors will be charged with the given polarities. Okay, so then current flows from here the current flows from CH2 to D2 and D2 to load and load to D4, okay, and D4 to and thyristor T4 and source. Okay, this is mode 1 operation. The current flowing will be like this. Here CH2 to D2 load and CH4 and source. Okay, so the current flowing directions will be like this. And here the capacitors both will be charged. So the both will be charged. Okay, with the given polarities. Okay, have to see this here minus and plus. So this will be charging. Left hand will be okay. So this left hand will be positive and right hand will be negative. Okay. So the capacitors will be charging will be like this. Okay. This is in mode 1 operation. The figure will be like this. Okay. So coming to mode 2 operation. So from this circuit, I had to see in this in 5.38. So the diodes D2 and D4 are already conducting, but uh, thyristors, thyristors TT1 and diode D1 and D3 get forward bias and start conducting. Thus at the end of the time, so at the end of the time T1, all four diodes D1 to D4 as conducting. As a result, the commutating capacitor now get connected in parallel with the load. Okay. Here we have to see this in mode 2 operation. So actually at starting D2 and D4 will be conducting. Now D1 and D3 also conducting. So here TH1 and TH3 will be triggered, and the current flowing direction will be TH1 to D1, D1 to load, load to D2, load to D3, D3 to thyristor, and here the current flowing from source. Here the capacitors will be charged. Okay, so upper half and lower half of the capacitors will be charged, and these polarities will be reversed with the mode 1 operation. Here, so in mode 2 operation, these 4 diodes will be conducting. Okay, so this is in mode 2 operation. So here so in current source inverter will be operated in two modes. So in first mode TH1 and TH3, in first mode T2 and T4 will be triggered, and in second mode TH1 and TH3 will be triggered. At starting, the current flowing direction will be TH2 whenever TH2 and TH4 will be triggered, and TH2 to D2, D2 to load, and load to TH D4, and D4 to TH4, and source. So here in mode 2 operation, the TH1 and TH3 will be triggered. The current flowing direction will be TH1, D1, load, D3, and and so from D3 to here the TH3, okay, here TH3 to source. Okay, this is a current direction for in mode 2 operation. These two capacitors will be charged. Okay, so here, say here the left plate will be charged positive and right plate will be charged in negative. Okay, so these capacitors will be charged with these polarities. Okay, so next, load commutated CSC. So load commutated CSC means, so here two commutating capacitors along with four diodes are used in the circuit for commutation. Okay, here four diodes and two thyristors will be used for a commutation from one pair of thyristor to second pair. Okay, here, so actually in VSI volt source inverter, if the load is capacitive, it is shown that the forced commutation may not be needed. Okay, the operation of single phase CSC with a capacitive load we are discussed here. So it may be noted that capacitor C is assumed to be parallel with the resistive load. Okay, here capacitor will be parallel with the resistive load. So the capacitor C is used for storing the charge or voltage to be used for a core force commutating in the conducting thyristor pair. So it will be shown. So as was the case in the last lesson, a constant current source or voltage source with a large inductance is used at the input to circuit. So, so in current source inverter, we have forced commutation will be used. Here two commutating capacitors along with four diodes are used. Okay. Here, so, so in this commutation, one pair of thyristor to second pair. Okay. So in a, so actually in the VSI, we have not used. We was shown that forced commutation may not be needed, but in CSI, so we have said that the capacitors will be parallel with the load. So the capacitors actually charging charges and stores the storing energy. So this means, so we have to using the force commutating force commutating, so that conducting a thyristor pair will be shown. So as in that we had said that current source or voltage source with large inductance will be used as a input in the source. Okay, so large inductance will be used as a input in the source. Why means we are using a force commutation. For load commutator CSC, this is a circuit diagram. Here we have 4 thyristors, and we are connected a capacitor. So in load, we are connected a capacitor it anti-parallel with the resistor. So we are connected parallelly with a resistor. Okay. So whenever we are triggered TH2 and TH4, then the capacitor will be charging, and the current flows TH2 to load to TH4 and source. Okay, and the TH1 will be triggered, the current flowing from I2 and load to TH3. Okay, so this is circuit diagram for load commutated CSC. So in the before in this figure we have to discuss CSI operation. So here we have to discussing load commutated CSI. Okay. So here the power switching device is used here will be same, and 4 thyristors only in full bridge configuration. So the positive direction for your load current and voltage will be shown in figure. So at t equal to 0, the capacitor voltage such that capacitor has left plate is negative and right plate will be positive. At that time, thyristor pair TH2 and TH4 will be conducting. And when thyristor pair TH1 and TH3 will be triggered by the pulses fed at the gate, so then the conducting thyristor pair TH2 and TH4 will be reverse biased by a capacitor voltage minus VV1 and turn off immediately. So the current path through the TH1 load and TH3 and source. So the current in the thyristor is ITI, and the output current will be IIS equal to I. Okay. So at starting TH1, TH2 and TH4 was conducting. So TH4 and TH2 and TH4 were conducting. Then the at a time t equal to 0, whenever the thyristor fail will be triggered TH1 and TH3 with the feeding a gate pulses. So then TH2 and TH4 will be reverse bias by the capacitor voltage of minus VV1, and it will be turned off immediately. Here the current path for TH1 and TH3 will be current path from TH1 to load, and load to TH3 and TH3 to source. So this is the current in a thyristor will be ITI, and the output current will be IIS equal to I. Here we have to see the voltage and current waveforms for load commutated CSC. Okay. So at starting the gate pulses IG1 and IG3 and IG2 and IG4, these are the gate pulses. So at starting 2 thyristors will be started, and here the load current will be obtained for TH2 and TH4. So at starting it will be in negative direction. Whenever these gate pulses will be given, the current flowing from upper half, and it will be downwards when the when thyristors will be turned off, and again restarting when again we have to give a another test of another set of thyristors here. Okay, and next coming to thyristor IC. Here capacitor. So the capacitor current will have to see this. So here starting the capacitor will be charged at positive terminal, and again it will be at the half of the time, and it will comes to 0, and it will comes to negative direction, and it will be again charged in negative mode in negative mode. Okay, so this will be repeated, and voltage. So uh, output voltage will be in triangular waveform, and here thyristor voltages at the half of the period the thyristor voltage will be 0, and at the time t by 2, then the thyristor voltage will be obtained. At starting it will be negative, and again it will be going to positive. Okay, and here thyristor currents IT1 and IT3. So at starting we have to turn it on T4, T2, TH2 and TH4. So yeah, so the TH2 and TH4 current will be 0, and we have TH2 and TH3 thyristor current will be obtained. And in TH2 and TH4, so at TH2 and TH4 will be turned off, then TH3 and TH3 will be turned on. So here the thyristor TH2, and at the time period T off, the current TH2 and TH4 thyristor current will be obtained. So when you have to draw this thyristor current, so at the time period 0 to t by 2, here th1 and th3 will be triggered, and again th2 and th4 will be triggered. So the thyristor current will be obtained in square waveform. Okay, so these are the voltage and current waveforms of load commutator CSC. Okay, these are the load commutator CSC. So coming to some problem, we have to see this. Okay, so here a single phase half bridge inverter. So single phase half bridge inverter has a resistive load of 2.4 watt and the DC input voltage of 48 volts. So we have to determine RMS output voltage and fundamental frequency and output power P naught and average and peak current of each transistor and peak blocking voltage of each transistor, total harmonic distortion and distortion factor, and harmonic factor and distortion factor at the lowest order harmonic. So at starting we have to discuss RMS output voltage of fundamental frequency. RMS output voltage E1 equal to 0.9 in 0.9 into 0.9 into 48, that is equal to 43.2 volts. Okay, so 0.9 into 48, then you get RMS output voltage 43.2, and RMS output voltage in E naught RMS equal to E equal to 48 watts, and output power equal to E square by R. So here E square means 48 whole square by, here resistance will be given 24 2.4. Okay, so then we get 960 watts. Okay, so this is output power will be 960 watts. Next, peak transistor current IP equal to ED by R. Here ED means 48 and resistors R equal to 2.4. Then we get 20 amps. Then average transistor current will be, we have to take an half of the peak current. Then you get 10 amps. 10 amps. Then peak reverse blocking voltage. So here peak reverse blocking voltage VBR equal to 48 volts. Okay, so here RMS harmonic voltage. RMS harmonic voltage En equal to sigma n equal to 35728 En square whole power 1 by 2. Then we have to simplify. Then ERMS square minus, so E naught square RMS minus E1 square RMS whole power 1 by 2. So E naught RMS will be 48 and E1 RMS will be 43.2. Then we have to substitute this value. Then E1 equal to 20.92 volts. Then total harmonic distortion equal to 20.92 by 43.2. then we get 48.43 percentage. Then DF, okay, distortion factor. So distortion factor equal to sigma n equal to 357 to infinity en by en square whole square and whole power 1 by 2 by 0.9. Then you have to substitute. Then you get 3.8%. So duration, okay. Then you get 0. Distortion factor will be 3.8 percentage. Next, lowest order harmonic in the third harmonic. So lowest order will be third harmonic. So RMS value of third harmonic ERMS equal to E first RMS by 3. Then harmonic voltage. So third harmonic will be E3 RMS by E1 RMS. Then you have to substitute. Then you get 33.33. So the distortion factor for lower order will be E3 RMS by 3 whole square by E1 RMS. Then we get 1 by 27. That will be 3.704. Okay. So RMS value of fundamental frequency. Okay, so the output voltage E1 equal to 0.9 into 48. Okay. So 0.9 into 48. Then we get E1. Then actually E0 will be, we have to take in as 48 volts. Then output power will be E squared by R. That will be 960 watts. So output power P0 equal to V square bar, that is 960. And RMS, here we have to peak transistor current IP equal to ED by R. And peak reverse blocking voltage VBR equal to 48. So harmonic voltage, RMS harmonic voltage. En equal to sigma n equal to 35728 En square on whole power 1 by 2. Then we have to substitute E0 square RMS minus E1 square RMS whole power 1 by 2. Actually E0 means 48 and E1 means 43.2. Then we get 20.92 E1 value. Total harmonic distortion means En by E1. So En means 20.92 by 43.2. Then we get 48.43. Distortion factor sigma 1 n equal to 357 to infinity en by n square whole square 1 by 2. Here you get en equal to 20.92. Okay. And yeah, and we have to substitute these values. So we get 0.03424 by 0.9. Then we get 3.8 percentage. That is distortion factor. For lowest order means third harmonic will be lowest order. For low 3 RMS equal to E1 RMS by 3. That implies E3 RMS by E1 RMS. So harmonic uh, harmonic factor HF3 equal to ERMS by E1 RMS 33.33. Then distortion factor equal to E3 RMS by 3 whole square by E1 RMS. Then 1 by 27 you get 3.074. So this is the lowest order harmonic is third harmonic, then RMS value of third harmonic and distortion factor, then and okay, this is okay. So thank you to everyone. So today we discussed what we discussed means harmonic voltage. So harmonic control in harmonic and voltage control and CSI. CSI meant current source inverter and current source inverter for load commutator current source inverter have to discuss. So in current source load commutator in load commutated CSI and some problems. we have to discuss. Okay. So thank you.